I was at the rat show that Suvi did, you know, that kind of thing. And that was interesting because there are a lot more extravagant shows back then. They've really been pared back a lot in recent years, and I guess that's partly financial. Um, but there were some extravaganzas in, you know,
Yeah.
8, 10 years ago. You know, the Terry Viviano shoe debut, Leona Edmiston, you know, a lot of these designers, I mean, they were spending absolute fortunes on shows. With those ones, it's not so much that they're, I mean, those are, I guess, curious cases because some of them haven't shown for a while anyway, but I think often it's financial, you know, absolutely. But also, it's not necessarily always relevant for designers to show at Fashion Week, and it depends what they want to get out of it. If they are wanting sales out of it, or if they're wanting press and PR out of it, you know, a lot of the sales for spring and summer are already done. That's why a lot of designers now are showing their cruise collections because the timing's better to sell that particular collection. And I mean, I love Fashion Week from almost an archival sense because it's nice to be able to actually have that catwalk documentation for a designer every year. And, you know, we don't really have that, to be honest. There's probably only a handful of designers that can say, yeah, we've shown every one of those years that Fashion Week's been going. Look, I think the biggest question that needs to happen around Fashion Week itself is, you know, are the dates, because they are problematic. It's been raised by a number of designers over a number of years, and I think that's one of the reasons that we haven't necessarily got the biggest array of our best designers this year, for example, because most of them have already sold spring summer.
Yeah.
It's just too late. So that's the biggest question I think that needs to be addressed, is when we actually have the shows. Do we need Fashion Week? Absolutely. I'm a really huge advocate of it, but we need to make sure that it's working for everybody. And a lot of designers are going into it purely because, you know, it's a good marketing tool now and that kind of thing. He won't show at Fashion Week now because he's already shown the collection then. It's happening, and I think, look, a lot of people perceive that there's a huge rivalry between those events. They're very different events. You know, this is Fashion Week here. It's a trade event. It's technically for sales for the next season. LMFF is very much it's a consumer event. So the whole point of it really is to drive tourism. It's to drive retail spend. And you can go to a show one evening, you can go into a store the next day and buy exactly what you saw, and that's what's fun about it. And Melbourne's really embraced it as an event. Like, everyone gets dressed up, everyone has a great time, the bars do really well, the retail does really well. I mean, it's actually and they've been going about the same length of time too. So, yeah, I don't think there should be rivalry between them because they're just such different events. But we are getting odd little strange crossovers.